The Velvet Sundown is a band that appears to have materialized out of thin air and then amassed hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners on Spotify and other major streaming platforms. And the reason why it seems like the band materialized out of nowhere is because it did. It's not a real band. It is a complete fabrication generated by AI. Let's look into this. Let's get spooky. Hey, spooky people. It's your best friend Kenny here, and we are back with another spooky, disturbing story. Before we get to today's story, make sure that you like and share this video. Share this video into the void of AI. I don't know, maybe you can get Grok to talk about me, or Gemini, or ChatGPT. Who knows? I don't know if anything will come out of that, but that seems to be where we're heading, right? The case of the Velvet Sundown is a digital illusion. It is a fabrication made by AI, and honestly, it really seems like record executives or other people attempted to see if they could pull a fast one on the public, and they almost did. However, the internet looked into it, found out that there was a lot of sketchy things going on with this band, and luckily uncovered the fact that this band is completely AI generated. The Velvet Sundown appeared on streaming services in early June 2025 and began raising suspicion. The band released 2 full-length albums, Floating on Echoes on June 5th and Dust and Silence on June 20th. And a third album called Paper Sun Rebellion was announced for July 14th. 3 albums in a little over than a month is an insane amount of albums for a real band. Despite having no prior history, no marketing budget, and no established fan base, the Velvet Sundown achieved staggering reach. Its monthly listener count on Spotify ballooned from over 325,000 to 372,000 and eventually exceeding 470,000 within its first month. This growth was not the result of organic discovery, but a calculated strategy to manipulate streaming music platform mechanics. The case against the Velvet Sundown is built on a mountain of circumstantial but compelling evidence, spanning its visual identity, the biography, and its musical output. The band's promotional photos and album covers were immediately flagged by observers as being remarkably AI generated. They possess an unnaturally clean, textureless quality, often described as the uncanny valley of digital art. Many images exhibit characteristics like a yellow tint, a common artifact in AI image generation. The band's Instagram account, created late on June 27th, 2025, showcased images with classic AI errors, such as distorted guitar frets and necks, human fingers that unnaturally merge with objects, etc. The 4 purported band members, vocalist and mellotron sorcerer Gabe Farrow, guitarist Lenny West, bassist synth alchemist Milo Raines, and free-spirited percussionist Orion Rio Del Mar, are ghosts. They're digital ghosts. Extensive online searches have revealed that they have no internet presence, no prior social media accounts, no history of performing, and have never been interviewed. Their Spotify biography is an example of large language model output filled with vague, unspecific, and flowery metaphors, such as comparing the music to a scent that suddenly takes you back somewhere you didn't expect. I suppose the scent of bullshit is a scent that suddenly takes you back to somewhere you didn't expect. An early version of the band's bio included a glowing but entirely fabricated quote attributed to the music publication Billboard. They sound like the memory of something you never lived and somehow make it feel real. That word salad sounds AI generated. Billboard has never published such a review, and this detail became a key point for online sleuths that are exposing this band. The music itself is a blend of mellow, country-influenced rock reminiscent of the Eagles, and it's been described as lacking depth. Music Radar noted it bears the unmistakable lo-fi veneer of a Suno creation, referring to a popular AI music generation tool. A significant tell was the inconsistent vocal sounds. The singer's voice sounds slightly different from track to track, a common artifact in AI-generated vocals where the model produces slight variations with each generation. The lyrics are generic, lacking any details or unique perspectives usually involved in human songwriting, leading to a product that sounds like soulless slop. Every major streaming platform lists the credits for every song. The credits for the Velvet Sundown songs are quite sparse. All tracks listed the Velvet Sundown as the sole entity for performed by, written by, and source, with no producer, engineer, or mixing credits, which is unrealistic in the collaborative world of music production. It's very unlikely that these guys are doing all of that work and producing 3 albums in the span of just a month. The band gained massive popularity by deliberately manipulating the algorithms on streaming services. The creator or creators employed a growth hacking strategy by seeding their tracks into more than 30 popular, heavily followed user-curated playlists by placing their songs in playlists with evocative titles like Vietnam War music or the OC soundtrack. They were able to piggyback on the popularity of established human artists. This tactic generated many passive streams from unsuspecting listeners, creating a strange and suspicious ratio of over 325,000 monthly listeners to fewer than 1,600 followers. This shows that the audience was not actively seeking out the band, but was being fed its music. This sounds like something Drake does. This strategic playlisting directly manipulated Spotify's powerful recommendation engine, causing the Velvet Sundown songs to be algorithmically pushed into personalized playlists like Discover Weekly for a vast number of users, completing a viral loop. The entire operation sounds like it was more than just an AI music project. It was a sophisticated probe designed to test the vulnerabilities of the digital music ecosystem. The process involved more than simply uploading AI-generated audio files. First, a complete, albeit fake artist persona was constructed, complete with AI-generated photos, a fake backstory, and fabricated media credentials. Second, instead of waiting for organic discovery, a specific and targeted growth hacking strategy was deployed to game the platform's recommendation algorithms. Finally, after the project was exposed, an associated social media account emerged to deny the AI allegations, claiming to be a very real band and generating further controversy and media attention. The combination of all of these deceptions point not to a simple hobbyist experiment or some troll, but a deliberate effort to measure the potential of making a fully synthetic artist go viral and stress test the system's non-existent guardrails. The transformation from the Velvet Sundown from an obscure streaming anomaly into a global controversy was driven by Grassroots investigation and amplified by the media. The resulting discussion online revealed a deep societal division over the value of art and the fears about AI from human creators. Online sleuths from Reddit, of course, Reddit, solved the mystery. Users on Reddit grew suspicious after being served the band's music in their Discover Weekly playlists, and they began digging. Their collective investigation quickly concluded that there was not a shred of evidence on the internet that this band has ever existed. This buzz online was picked up by media outlets, tech-focused publications like Mashable and Tech Radar, alongside music-centric outlets like Stereogum and NME all published detailed reports on this fake band, the Velvet Sundown. This turned a niche internet mystery into a full-blown AI controversy and conversation about the future of music online. The public reaction was actually pretty polarized, and there were 2 different camps. Most of the response was one of outrage, disgust, and betrayal. Commenters described the situation as dystopian, disturbing. Many felt deceived by Spotify for algorithmically promoting synthetic content without any disclosure, leading to calls to boycott the platform. For this group, the Velvet Sundown, the music itself was called derivative soulless music, AI slop, and utter shit, with its synthetic origin rendering it fundamentally worthless as art. However, a certain segment of the audience was indifferent to the band's origins or generally enjoyed the music. One guy on Reddit declared, "Not gonna lie, the songs are fire." Others, upon listening, found the music surprisingly catchy and actually good. This group largely perceived the output as pleasant and inoffensive background listening, where the final product's enjoyability trumped any concerns about its creation process. The reaction demonstrated the existence of a substantial audience for whom music is a functional commodity rather than a sacred form of art. For human musicians and creators, the Velvet Sundown controversy served as confirmation of their biggest fears about generative AI. A big concern is money. An AI entity accumulating hundreds of thousands of paid streams is seen as directly taking money out of the pockets of authentic artists making real music. And this problem is magnified within streaming services, where they already only pay pennies to human artists for millions of listens. Beyond the financial impact, the controversy fueled a profound existential dread. Artists and fans of music voiced concerns about end-shitification of creative platforms, where the digital space becomes so polluted with low-effort AI slop that the 1% of human-created music becomes nearly impossible to discover. The polarized public reaction to the Velvet Sundown reveals a growing schism in how society assigns value to music. The divide between process-based value and product-based value. The camp expressing outrage is rooted in the importance of the creative process. They value the human narrative, the struggle, the practice, the long, sweaty nights in a studio, and the authentic life experience that informs the art. For these people, and I can say I belong in this group, the AI origin is an unforgivable deception that nullifies the work's artistic merit, regardless of how good it sounds. They view music as an essential expression of the human condition. The other camp bases its judgment purely on the final product. Their valuation is treating music as something that belongs in the background, judging music based on how it sounds or whether it's pleasant or not. For this group, the method of creation doesn't matter. If it sounds good, it's good. It's like music is a consumable good detached from its origin story. The fact that the Velvet Sundown was able to attract a massive listenership platform suggests that there is a viable, large-scale market for synthetic, good enough music, posing a direct threat to human artists who rely on their human connection and their human stories in their music to build careers and connect with audiences. The Velvet Sundown controversy has placed music streaming platforms under intense scrutiny, especially Spotify, which is the most popular music streaming platform. The platform served as both the venue and a potential enabler of the phenomenon, exposing a critical flaw in responsibility regarding AI-generated content. Spotify was the primary platform where the Velvet Sundown's viral ascent occurred. The project was granted verified artist status on the platform. This designation technically only confirms that the profile is managed by the uploader, but it suggests a powerful and misleading legitimacy to the average user. The platform has a powerful recommendation algorithm, and this was the key vector for the band's spread. By successfully gaming the system through playlist seeding, the creators of the Velvet Sundown effectively weaponized Spotify's own tools against its user base, leading to accusations that the company was actively pushing the synthetic content into users' Discover Weekly playlists. The situation is made worse by the fact that Spotify's content policy prohibits AI-generated music that directly impersonates a human artist. However, it does not require any disclosure or labeling for any forms of AI-generated content. This leaves users completely in the dark, unable to make informed choices about what music they listen to. Despite many requests from media outlets for comment on the Velvet Sundown case, Spotify has remained silent, further creating public frustration. Deezer, which is another music platform that, while I have heard of, I have never used or heard of anyone who actually uses it, took the step of flagging the Velvet Sundown's albums. Users on the platform were met with the clear message that some tracks on this album may have been created using artificial intelligence. The Velvet Sundown's music reached Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, and Amazon Music through a third-party digital distributor identified as Distrokid. Services like Distrokid have made music distribution easier, offering a low-cost, open pipeline for any creator to upload content to all major platforms. However, this model also allows for the mass distribution of AI-generated content with minimal human gatekeeping or verification. The Velvet Sundown controversy is a direct consequence of the lack of an AI policy by Spotify. There has been a rise of powerful, accessible, generative AI music tools like Suno and Udio over the last few years that have made the potential for mass-produced synthetic music a known possibility. Deezer's ability to identify and label the content proved that a technological solution for transparency was available. Despite being the largest streaming service, Spotify chose not to implement similar measures. Whoever's responsible for the Velvet Sundown successfully exploited this vulnerability. The entire controversy could have been mostly avoided by a simple label. This is Spotify's fault. The Velvet Sundown is a product of a rapidly advancing technological system. It's widely believed to have been created using one of the leading generative AI music platforms, such as Suno or Udio. These platforms allow users to generate complete songs, vocals, lyrics, instrumentation from simple text-based prompts. These AI systems are trained on vast datasets containing millions of existing songs. And through this process, the models learn the statistical patterns, structures, and conventions of different music genres. When a user receives a prompt, such as a psychedelic rock song about a lost memory, or a country song about my dog and beer, the AI generates entirely new audio from scratch that conforms to the learned patterns and the user's request. The Velvet Sundown case is a direct successor to the 2023 fake Drake controversy. The incident involved a track titled Heart on My Sleeve, which used AI to convincingly clone the voices of Drake and The Weeknd and subsequently went viral. The fake Drake song triggered a swift response from Universal Music Group, which condemned the use of its artist's work for AI training as a breach of our agreements and a violation of copyright law. And it successfully pressured streaming services to remove the track. This established the music industry's precedent for zero tolerance against deepfake vocals and unauthorized AI training. Of course, Drake would later use AI to mimic the voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg as part of his beef with Kendrick Lamar, which ended up going very badly for Drake. The creation and accessibility of programs like Suno and Udio has created a multi-front legal war that will define the future of music and, frankly, creative intellectual property. Starting in 2024, the world's largest music companies, including Sony Music, Universal Music Group, and Warner Music Group, have filed massive copyright infringement lawsuits against both Suno and Udio. And the allegation is that these AI firms unlawfully copied and ingested massive amounts of data from copyright-sounded recordings to train their models. An act of massive copyright infringement performed without permission or compensation. Independent artists have also brought class action lawsuits. They recognize that any potential settlements between AI firms and major labels might exclude smaller creators, so independent country artist Tony Justice filed class action lawsuits against both Suno and Udio in June 2025. And these suits aim to represent all independent artists whose rights may have been trampled the most and are seeking statutory damages, significant statutory damages per infringed work. The primary legal defense offered by AI companies is the doctrine of fair use, arguing that training their models on copyrighted data is a transformative act that creates something new. However, this argument isn't very good. The U.S. Copyright Office has issued guidance suggesting that fair use is unlikely to apply when AI is used to generate substitutional works that directly compete in the same commercial marketplace as the original copyrighted material they were trained on. Or fair use doesn't apply when a music or a band sounds a lot like another band and is therefore taking streams away from the real band. An interesting part of this is the fact that under current US law, works generated entirely by AI cannot be copyrighted because they lack human authorship. And this creates this bizarre legal paradox where the creation of an AI song may be copyright infringement, yet the resulting song itself may be ineligible for copyright protection. What happened with the Velvet Sundown and the resulting controversy might be a necessary catalyst forcing a long overdue evolution in the music industry. It has taken the looming threat of generative AI into a tangible fear, compelling everyone involved in the music industry to confront these problems that have been around, but they've chosen to ignore. The Velvet Sundown represents something deeper as well. This fake band made the abstract threat of AI generative music concrete to a mass audience and no longer just a looming boogeyman, and is resulting in a public pressure that can no longer be ignored. This pressure is forcing platforms to reconsider content moderation policies, compelling AI companies to face legal accountability and seek legitimate licenses. The Wild West era of generative AI in music is ending. And it's not because of litigation or lawsuits, but because of a fake band from California upset people so badly because of its deception. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you like and share this video. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky. My username is The Spooky Lawyer. Follow me on TikTok. My username is The Spooky Lawyer there. If there is a spooky or disturbing story you would like me to cover, leave a comment. I read all my comments and I respond to most of my comments. Or if you're feeling shy, send me an email. My email address is thespookylawyer@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the super thanks button in the YouTube toolbar and you can make a donation there. I'm going to put the names of the people who have donated to this channel up here. Thank you very much. If you donate to this channel, you get your name in my videos, which is a good deal, I think. You also support me by liking, sharing, and watching my videos. And I very much appreciate that you watch my videos. It means a lot to me. So thank you. And please stay spooky.